Hey mate, so you're looking to spend some cash to get the perfect stream set up? Let me tell you a quick story about that. Hey, I'm Sean, AussieS24 if you've come across from Twitch, where I stream every Sunday through Tuesday nights. Let me tell you a story about how I spent a lot of money to get the perfect stream set up and how you don't need to. This is that story. So I play a lot of computer games. A few years ago, I was playing with a friend who was streaming on Twitch, and it kind of occurred to me that I didn't realize that normal people streamed. Him talking about streaming got me interested in it, and so I started watching a few small streamers. I quickly realized that for someone who's a little introverted, like most gamers, myself included, it's a really good way to become or to be a little extroverted, like a lot of people want to be, myself included, especially for those that are not really comfortable to do it in real life. Anyway, like I'm prone to do, I jumped right in and decided that to be able to stream properly, I was going to need to upgrade my computer. I did a heap of research, watched a lot of videos on YouTube to try and figure out exactly what I would need to be able to stream as a single PC setup. So I clearly knew it all. I mean, not really. I thought I did. I got a new CPU, an i5 9700K. I got 16 gig more RAM to match the RAM that I already had, a new case, and a new motherboard. I found a good cheap second-hand power supply and cheap water cooler. And because I was trying to save money, as I was convincing myself, I reused my 1060 graphics card and hard drives. All right, so fail number one. I really didn't need to get an extra 16 gig of RAM. The 16 I already had in there would have been plenty for streaming and gaming, especially considering I was trying to do it cheaply. All right, so now I've got a fairly newish computer and I'm all set to start streaming. Except fail number two. Our internet wasn't good enough to stream. My upload speed was nowhere near the 8 gig that I would want to be able to stream smoothly and properly. Ideally, what you want is a minimum of 12 gig upload and 30 gig download speeds to guarantee a smooth streaming experience. At this point, I thought to myself, well, that's fine. I'll just use my phone. I've got a good data plan on my phone and I'm in a 4G, 5G area, so my phone will easily be able to download or upload at the speed needed. Fail number three. Did you know that my phone uses almost 2 gig of data for every hour that I'm streaming? Now that's okay if your internet goes down for an hour or two when you're streaming and you just want to fill in for a day or a night when you're streaming. But if you plan to stream for 3 hours a night, 5 nights a week, in a month, that's roughly 125 gig worth of downloads that you've used on your data plan on your phone. That's way more than the 65 gig that I've got to split across 2 separate phones on my plan. The NBN, Australia's really bad high-speed internet, was still being rolled out in the area where we were living at that stage. And long story short, whilst they told us it would be ready here, and then months later it wasn't, and then months later it wasn't, and then months later it wasn't, it just kept getting delayed. And so eventually, luckily for me, my daughter was starting school that next year, so we looked for a new house and we moved into that place much closer to her school, which incidentally happened to have the NBN already connected. So during that time, I put out YouTube videos just to learn the process of editing and how to do it all. You can see them on this channel if you want. They're pretty bad. I'm still learning, obviously, but I'm enjoying the learning experience. And hopefully I'll be able to teach you guys everything that I learn to help making your learning experience a little easier. All right, so we'd moved into the new place and it's like, okay, yeah, it's streaming time, right? Needless to say, I was pretty hyped about it all. I was all set up on Streamlabs OBS. I had the best settings according to all the things I'd read and seen on the internet. And I was ready to go live and rack up all those followers and subscribers and bask in their internet glory. Or not. The reality of it was, I spent the first month trying to fix problems with skipped frames and other problems with the stream that just seemed to come up all the time. I played with OBS, I went through all the settings, I watched all the videos, I read everything again. Literally, I'd done everything that they had said on all the videos to suit my system. Eventually, it kind of got to the point where I was thinking, maybe my system just can't handle playing games and streaming at the same time. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Apex Legends. But eventually, I convinced myself that the issue was multi-threading with my CPU and that I really needed a i9 9900K. Remembering that I'm trying to keep the costs down on all of my PC purchases. So that's what I did. I saved up, I went out, I bought the i9 9900K, installed that, got it all up and running, and could you guess what happened next? Yeah, Fail number 4. It was almost exactly the same. At this point, I was almost out of words. Like, I didn't know what to do. Clearly, it wasn't the computer, because it was a beast of a computer by this stage. There's plenty of people out there that were streaming and playing on single systems which were not as good as what I had. So clearly, I was missing something. So at this point, I went through everything again, all my settings on OBS, everything else I could find, changing everything. And then I changed one thing. I went from a hardware encoder to the software encoder, and it fixed everything. Now, every single video told me to use the hardware encoder, so that's what I've done. But the instant I tried the software encoder, everything worked out. No more skipped frames, and I could run every game smoothly without any issues. I mean, this was all great. At this point, everything's working properly, but I've probably spent a lot more money than I really needed to get everything working properly. And since then, I've spent a bit more money as well on the mirrorless camera, on my Stream Deck, on the Rodecaster Pro, on the microphone, the NT1. All of these things were not necessary, but they definitely made the stream look better and sound better and more easy to control, with a little bit of the exception on the Rodecaster Pro, which really isn't designed for streaming. It's more of a podcast mixer, which I bought specifically for podcasting. I'm just waiting for the Rona to disappear so that I can actually get started with my new podcast that I'm going to be bringing out. So I guess the whole point of this story was to let you know that you don't need to spend all the money to get to a point where you can start streaming. You don't need the highest end PC to be able to stream smoothly. And had I spent a little bit more time, I probably would have been able to figure it out and get myself to the point where I could stream smoothly without needing to have spent some of the money that I'd spent. If you've got yourself into a point where you're wanting to stream and your PC doesn't seem to be handling it, I'd suggest having a look online, looking at a few more content creators out there that are making videos like that are teaching people how to set up. Or if you want to, you can jump onto my stream and I'm happy to go through what my thoughts are for that. I'll put a link below for some of the content creators that I watch who are making really good videos in relation to setting up OBS, single system streams and things like that. That's not to say that if you've got like a potato PC, that it's going to work perfectly for you to stream with. But if you've got a mid-range PC, it's probably going to handle what you actually need to be able to stream, even if you're planning to stream and play on a single system. So before you go out and spend that money on a system that you may not necessarily need yet, spend the time to go through and get your OBS or slobs or whatever you're using set up properly and make sure that that's not the problem. If you can get it fixed, you can then spend that money that you were going to spend on a new computer on a better camera or a better microphone or better lighting or a mixing deck or a stream deck or any of these things that definitely make the stream better but cost a bit more money. That was a long roundabout story just to let you know that you don't need to waste a lot of money to be able to get yourself up and streaming straight away. Hopefully it was entertaining and showed you my stupidity and allows you to learn from that so that you don't make the same mistakes that I've made. As I've said a few times as well, I do stream every Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, 6:30 Australian Eastern Time. If you want to jump on for a chat about streaming, tech, anything at all, I like to chat. So jump on, I'm happy to chat with you about everything. Lastly, if you've stuck around this long, thank you very much. If you could give the video a thumbs up, that helps immensely. If you really want to help, you can click the subscribe button and hit the bell. That way you get notifications of when the next video is. Thanks again, and don't forget, you're awesome. See you, mate.